Well, thank you very much. We have just left the courts where we have been told that our colleagues have been granted bail. We are not celebrating anything because even their only offense is that they had no offense. They had gone to Harvest House, his Emirati house, which is our place of work. They had gone there to do what we always do every day. As leaders, as officials, they had gone there to make sure that we transact our business. And when they got there, they were told that they could not enter the building. What is quite disturbing for us is a new trend that we have seen, a trend of abuse of our justice system, literally turning our chambers of justice into chambers of torture, chambers of malice, and chambers of vindictiveness. We can see that there's now a political hand that is permeating our issues of justice. The law is now being used as a weapon against those who are perceived to be on the other side of the political divide. And that is a worrisome development. We are also concerned that we are beginning to see an escalation of our institutions of the state being dragged into matters that are political, that have nothing to do with matters of the state or matters of people's prosperity, people's dignity and progress. So we are beginning to also see the role of the military, especially at Harvest House. The fact that we had soldiers is a cause for concern. It's a new law. It's a new abnormal. It can't be normal. And we feel that is something that must be dealt with. As regards our guys, yes, they're not guilty. They were never guilty. And we will continue. The struggle continues.
Yes, President Chamisa, we noticed that there's this crisis at Emirati House, and what's the way forward now that the complex is closed and we hear that the state agents are in there? What are you going to do as MDC Alliance on that issue?
Well, it's a passing phase. These are just desperate attempts by desperate individuals who have realized how desperate their circumstances are. This is not an MDC issue. It is an issue being visited upon us by our colleagues in ZANU-PF. My brother ED seems to be so fixated upon dealing with individuals and the opposition. And he forgets that the real issue in the country is about dealing with COVID. It's about dealing with the bread and butter issues. You know, employees have no salaries. Workers need to be paid. The currency is going, southwards. The economy is in the doldrums. Those are the issues we must be dealing with. Corruption has become a national religion. It has hit new decibels of insanity in the country. And those are the issues we must be dealing with. This whole issue you are calling a crisis is not a crisis, it's a passing phase. We know we have been in this game for a long time. This is all being visited upon us on account of our refusal to submit to issues of abuse, issues of compromise, and issues of undermining that which we are fighting for. Change, democracy, rule of law, dignity for persons, freedom of all persons. And those are the issues we continue to fight for. So this whole thing is going to be finished in a couple of days. We know that we have a relationship that allows us to lawfully be there. We don't want this Banyamlenga approach, this Al-Shabaab, mindset. And I'm shocked that our colleagues have now joined the bandwagon of, lawlessness, breakdown of rule of law. You don't just come nocturnal activities, Nicodemus approaches at night. Are you a witch? If you have issues, put them on the table. They are discussed. Why do you come at night with army trucks, with truckloads of police? Why are we abusing our state institutions to drag them into matters that are purely political and that are purely within our own remit to deal with? It's very unfortunate, but it's something that is just a small issue. It's a storm in a teacup, and we'll be able to deal with it. We are not worried about it because we are in this game, fully aware of the consequences.
At a press conference this morning, Mr. Komichi and Mr. Monzora have said there was a clean handover of Morgan Tsvangirai house. Did that transpire?
The first thing you're supposed to do is to examine them medically. You can't say that there was a clean handover, takeover. Your definition of clean must then be re-examined. They did this at night. Our Secretary General was just brought to the attention. They had the company of our soldiers and of course the police. It's common because it's on record. It's there. And they cannot run away from that. But the fact that people are able to lie to that extent tells you that is something fundamentally wrong with our society. You can't be a voice of the alternative. You can't be the face of the alternative if you lack integrity and honesty. It's bizarre. It's shocking. They know that they are lying, and yet they want to say they are the opposite. Now, you can't be the opposite of what is supporting you. They are being supported by ZANU-PF in everything. They are being supported by the state in everything. Right now, they are almost, in tow with ZBC and the Herald. And what it tells you is that it is clear that they are on the same page, of the same mind, of the same goal, of the same strategy, to destroy the alternative voice, to destroy democracy. And they will not succeed.
Mr. President Chamisa.
Don't hesitate to say President. I understand your difficulty.
Clarity.
Yes.
The reinstated Secretary General by the Supreme Court, Douglas Monzora, has said that...
that is not correct. He has not been reinstated. He's abusing the authority that he doesn't have. The Supreme Court reinstated Thokozani Kupe only with a limited mandate to organize our past.
Okay.
Not even the future.
All right. Senator Monzora has claimed
Thank you.
that they now run, they
Yes.
now control
Sure.
House.
Sure.
And at the same time, you are saying that it's a passing phase. It's only about 2 or 3 days. And it has no police. For clarity, so that we know how to write. And
if you go to Mahuro, how many people will claim that they are normal?
I know before that. I'm asking who owns Harvest House? How is the structure? Because we are...
I will not delve into the details, but all I can tell you is that the Harvest House, Emirati House, is not owned by the MDC. It is owned by private players. But we have, as tenants, a clear understanding and relationship as MDC Alliance. And it's all common cause. It's known.
Okay.
They've been caused by some members of the party that it's time they get into the streets to protest against what is happening in the country. What's your thoughts?
Well, I must say that I've said this over and over again. You will never ever have a period where you say it's now time. It was time yesterday. The challenges in our country, the shortage of fuel, the shortage of electricity, the shortage of money, the shortage of good governance, the shortage of democracy, the shortage of freedom, the shortage of happiness, the shortage of opportunities, the shortage of jobs is such that it is now time. The center can no longer hold. Enough is enough. And people have the right to peacefully express themselves in terms of the Constitution. I don't understand why this should call for a conference. A revolution will never have headquarters. A revolution will never have offices. A struggle will never have offices. So that's why this whole false focus on the Harvest House is a waste of time. The real house that is of consequence here is the State House, where we need to make sure that we correct the status and settings of things. Where we must be able to make sure that we have correct people in offices of government. Right now we have wrong people. That's why everything is wrong. And everything is facing the wrong direction. So, in terms of timing, you will never have a timetable for a revolution. People have a right to express them. That's why the Constitution is very clear. People can express themselves, Section 59, if they feel that they want to. And it is up to the people. It will never come from the top. Water does not boil from the top, it boils from the bottom. Where it is not felt, higher at the top, but at the bottom. And that's where, obviously, the people have a right to express themselves. So you will not get me to announce, but we have to organize, we have to mobilize. We are allowed by the Constitution to do so, to express ourselves peacefully without being violent, but making sure that we are able to send a clear message that we need change, and change is now.
President, do you have any strategy to help the masses that are suffering as MDC Alliance? Because it seems all these things that are happening right now, they're sort of taking center stage instead of leaders. Both ZANU-PF and you opposition are looking at the challenges that people are facing right now in terms of COVID. People are suffering. What about you? What really do you are you doing to make sure, or do you have any mechanism to make sure that Zimbabweans, especially in urban areas, they are not getting food, they have nothing?
Well, I must say that you know that we have zones of autonomy where we are representing Zimbabweans on account of the mandate that they gave us in an election, where we have councillors, where we have members of parliament. And when we started this year, at the beginning of this year, we underscored that we have 5 critical fights that are going to be so key for 2020. We mentioned the issue of a people's government. We have not yet achieved on that. We mentioned the issue of livelihoods. That is a lot we have actually been doing around that area. Our MPs, our councillors, and I must thank MPs and councillors who have tried to help using their own resources in local communities to help people, to assist them, and also to seek some external and foreign assistance. We appreciate that. The third one is the fight for the security of persons. You have seen the spate of abductions, arrests. We are here because of the security of persons, freedoms and rights. So those are issues we are fighting for. The fourth one was corruption. You have seen the escalating corruption in the country. I told you about the challenges we have with corruption. We now need to look into those issues and some of the issues that we are looking at. Then, of course, the issue of constitutionalism and the constitution. But more importantly, I must say that we are doing our best under very difficult circumstances. But this is not enough until we find a permanent solution through comprehensive reforms, through making sure that we address a political settlement that will address the challenges we have in this country. Otherwise, Zimbabwe will be in this merry-go-round for a long time. And we have said we need Zimbabweans to be their own liberators, and we can author our own destiny together as a people.
So, my last question. During the press conference again this morning, Mr. Monzora said you are G40 fronted. What's your comment on that?
Indeed, I'm G40. My age is now 42. So I'm 42.
The G40 was referring to is that with Professor Jonathan Moyo and the other previous party members.
But can't you see? I'm not seeking to be the president of MDC. I'm already president of MDC Alliance. I'm seeking to establish a consensus nationally of all the people. So I'm not going to be reduced into these petty fights of labeling people, condemning people. We are going to be leading Zimbabweans, including Mr. Mnangagwa and ZANU-PF. So I am going to be leading the entire country. Why should I ostracize and discriminate? To say I don't want to see Mnangagwa, I don't want to see... When you are a leader, you must be unifying, which is my fundamental problem with my brother Mnangagwa. Instead of uniting, is dividing. Instead of bringing together, is drifting people apart. We need to make sure that we bring our people together with a common vision as Zimbabweans, and we don't look at these fun labels. It's a ZANU-PF the culture to label and condemn, to point fingers at others.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.